Fox 40 is your local election headquarters. So with VP Kamala Harris receiving the endorsement to become the next president of the United States, it serves as a reminder that women of color are capable of achieving great success. And we see that in organizations like She the People, that's focused on making women leaders in America. Joining us now live, Amy Allison, the founder of She the People. And we thank you so much for joining us this morning, Miss Amy.
Thanks for having me.
What was your initial reaction to Biden stepping down yesterday and Harris being named to carry the torch to lead America?
I mean, we're all feeling the weight of history, and it's the opportunity America has been waiting for a fresh start and a new direction. When She the People started in 2018, our vision was to build an America deeply inspired and also led by women of color, this growing part of the electorate and this untapped leadership potential. And just a few years later, Kamala Harris, Black and Asian American woman, would and is on the path to be the Democratic Party and any major American party's first standard bearer. Kamala Harris is now the leader of the party, and it's an exciting moment. I was on a call with 44,000 Black women last night, and over the course of 4 hours, we talked about what it's going to take to beat Trump. We talked about the work in the states in the Midwest and the Southwest and what it's going to take for us to turn out the vote. But overall, the excitement is palatable. And I am right there in terms of ready to get to work.
Absolutely. I mean, thousands of people have immediately rushed to her defense, really, and saying, you know what, this is the person that we need to lead this nation. Now, when we last saw a woman in the running for president with Hillary Clinton, we saw many critics saying, you know, a woman can't lead this nation, far too emotional, can't handle certain things that a man can do. But that is changing. Obviously, we're seeing that now.
Yeah, we're seeing that. We learned a lot of lessons from Hillary Clinton's run for president. Back in 2016, I have this very clear memory of saying, you know, Black women are the highest vote turnout, the Democrats, and they're the difference maker in states across the country. And their turnout would make a difference for Hillary Clinton. I remember people saying to me, that's not true. Back then, there wasn't an understanding of Black women's role in American politics or Latina or Asian Americans. I think we have learned that in order for a woman to be president and a woman of color, instead of trying to retreat from the fact that America's demographics are evolving, lean into it. Democrats, the multiracial group of Democrats that are the coalition that elected Biden-Harris in 2020, continue to reflect an America that's more diverse and more accepting and willing to vote for a woman and a woman of color. So we have learned a lot about who we are and the politics and policies we need to embrace in order to inspire the new America.
And Harris really has the opportunity to stand firm on big issues this country is going to vote on in November when it comes to abortion rights, when it comes to immigration. Do you see her really excelling at these specific areas for voters?
Well, as vice president, she's been an excellent and the major spokesperson from the White House as the governing partner of President Biden on issues of reproductive justice and abortion rights. She's an excellent spokesperson for that. It's the major vulnerability of Republicans and restoring abortion rights, as opposed to what we heard Trump and Vance say at the RNC last week, that they support a total abortion ban. Kamala Harris, as our presidential candidate and standard bearer for our freedoms and justice, I think is just she's the right voice. She's the right leader at the right time. We're also going to see her take the lead on economic justice issues and racial justice issues. She's been a longtime advocate of securing or resecuring national voting rights for particularly people of color who have been that has been under attack in many states. So I think on issues of gender and racial justice and economic justice, she's the leader that's going to excite a lot of people. And there's an energy that I haven't seen, at least in a year, around this presidential campaign. I think it's going to translate in the next 106 days to more people getting involved and turning out to vote.
You're right. I think after, what happened with Biden's debate, I think there was a lot of, we're kind of slumping down right now. And so Democrats were hungry for somebody who's fiery, who's a little bit more, shows that passion just a little bit more. And I think we see that definitely with Kamala Harris, again, in all the issues that she stands for on the campaign trail. She's been so active in making those international ties, too. Now, moving forward, how is she, the people, really going to maybe step up in this regard, rallying behind Harris or other women of color in certain political agendas?
Well, She the People focuses on the political power of women of color in the key must-win states. That's Arizona and Nevada. That's Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Georgia, North Carolina. Women of color comprise about 25% of the electorate. She the People will be speaking with women of color, encouraging people to make a vote plan, make sure that they're registered, turn out their friends and family. The thing that people need to understand about women of color writ large as a political bloc, we're very diverse, but we're force multipliers when it comes to citizen engagement. And that's what She the People is going to tap into, getting the friends and community out to vote. So we have historic high vote turnout, and that's always good for Democrats. It's going to be excellent to usher in President Harris.
Amy Allison, thank you so much for joining us. Again, founder of She the People. We so appreciate your time and all your valuable input on what happens next for Ms. Kamala Harris moving forward in this election cycle. Have a great rest of your morning. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.